When I was a teenager, my friends and I started a theater group called Shalom Theater, and we used to perform for the community as well as a church. My role was to write the plays, direct, and also moderate. And one day I was moderating one of the plays when someone came up to me and said, I'm working on a television show, would you like to audition? At the time I was in my first year in university, I believe I was about 18 or 19, and I said, I'm a student, and he said, don't worry, it's going to be on weekends. So I started working at a television station while I was, studying political science. My plan was to finish political science and then study law and become a lawyer. Now, after actually doing this job for some time, I got to realize that this is really what I wanted to do. I remember before that time, I had actually seen Oprah Winfrey on satellite at a friend's house, and I said to myself, I would love to do that someday. So as soon as I realized that this is what I wanted to do, I finished my degree in political science and actually pursued further employment opportunities in the media. And so that's how my career path in the media got started. It was sort of like divinely orchestrated. Now, a lot of people have actually asked me this question: how can I find my purpose? How can I find what God created me to do in this world? I must say that, finding your purpose is the best thing that can happen to anyone. There's something magical about it. There's something fulfilling. It's just unexplainable. If you haven't found your purpose yet, don't worry, you're not alone. So many people out there are still dabbling with this question. The other day I checked on Amazon, and there are over 70,000 books on how to find your purpose. And this means that a lot of people actually want to know what they need to do or how they need to find their purpose. Why is it that of everyone that has ever lived, that is alive right now, that will live, there's none that is exactly or quite like you? Each and every one of us is different. Our fingerprints are different, we look different, we speak differently, we think differently. Even twins are different. So that means each and every one of us has a specific assignment. Every product that is created has an expiry date. And the expiry date actually lets you know when you have to consume the product by before it's time to toss it away. It is the same thing with life. You're not here forever, so the earlier you find out the purpose for which you're here and begin to walk towards it, the more fulfilled you will be. Myles Munroe said, the greatest tragedy on earth is not death, but life without a purpose. To discover your purpose, there are 3 questions that I'd like you to ask yourself. The first one is, what takes you to the place of ultimate freedom? Discovering your purpose liberates you. It takes you to a place of freedom that actually gives you fulfillment. It takes you to a place that keeps you in a state of comfortability that is not achieved in other areas of your life. You have to ask yourself, what do I like? What is it that I do that makes me feel engaged in such a way that I lose the concept of time and it just makes me feel fulfilled? What is that thing that you do that you forget to eat, you forget to sleep, that inspires you to action? If you had enough money to last you a lifetime, what is that thing that you will do? What are you keenly interested in? What is that thing that you can do for free just because you enjoy doing it? What is that thing that makes you feel like a child playing with his or her favorite toy? That thing, you need to write it down. Now, the second question that you need to ask yourself is, what are my talents? What are you talented in? You see, everyone's purpose is wrapped in a gift box called talent. The problem is that many people never open that box. Some people actually bury it. Some people actually see it and they ignore it. Your talent not used either dies or depreciates. So what you appreciate grows, and what you don't appreciate depreciates. Now, the thing about your talent is that it is for your fulfillment, but for the elevation of others. So it is not just about you. Now, nobody was created to solve all the problems of the world, but each and every one of us was created with an answer to some problems or a problem. I know sometimes we try to conform our life to what society wants us to do. We try to choose careers that sound attractive or that will impress other people, but always remember that you will function best on the ground that is fertile enough for you. So if you actually go plant potatoes in some continents, it won't grow. It's the same thing with your talent. So if you're actually trying to live on another man's lane, it won't work because you're meant for something different. What comes naturally to you? What is that thing that you do effortlessly? Now, sometimes that thing that you think is an imperfection in you may be the thing that God put in you to make a difference in the world. There's an American actor, producer, director, comedian called Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is about 4 feet tall and has a small stature due to Fairbanks disease. But Danny could have allowed his inadequacies to limit him. But the very thing that people expected to keep him down became his advantage. He's won an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and many other awards. And he is one of the greatest actors in the world today. And that's because he chose to use what he has to get what he wants. What about Nick Vujicic, the Australian motivational speaker and preacher who actually has tetra amelia syndrome, which is characterized by the absence of 4 limbs? Nick could have just said, God was unfair to me. He made me this way without limbs. But guess what? The very thing that actually people see as an imperfection is the very thing that has actually made him a man that is changing the world today. At the age of 17, he started his own non-profit organization, Life Without Limbs. And today, Nick has impacted the lives of millions of people worldwide and has spoken to sold-out auditoriums internationally, inspiring people to live their life and to live their best life regardless of what actually life has meted out to them. But there's one thing that Nick said that really touched me. He said, I am not a man without limbs. I am a child of God. In actually trying to find out what you're talented in, actually think about what makes you unique. That thing that makes you unique could be linked to what God put you on this earth for. There was a guy that came to American Idol and he was like, I've been singing since I was 5 and I'm going to be the next American Idol. I was like, yeah, this one is going to nail it. He's going to impress. When he opened his mouth, I was shocked. In fact, I was so shocked that his family members did not tell him never to open his mouth. And then Simon Cowell said to him, he said, you have invented a new form of torture. You may like something, but you may not be talented in it. So you can do what you like as a hobby, or if you like it so much that you're passionate about it, maybe you can do other forms of it. So there's no one way to achieve your actual purpose. There are different seasons for it, and there are different dimensions for it. For instance, this guy, if he loved singing so much and could not sing, he could maybe become a music producer or done some other thing in the music industry that would keep him in the music sort of scene, since he's so excited about music. There's no one way to achieve your purpose, and also there are seasons for your purpose. So one season may be you doing one thing, and another season may be you doing another thing. Like Oprah Winfrey, for instance, she said her purpose was to be a teacher. And after doing her TV show for 20 years, she realized that she had been a teacher all along. So even though she wasn't a teacher in a classroom, she was actually a teacher using television as her medium. And in defining your purpose, try not to define it in terms of a career or in terms of what. Always define it in terms of the why. Why are you supposed to do it? And who are you supposed to do it for? Once you figure out those 2 things, then the other things will fall in place. Now, the third question to ask yourself is, what is my heart telling me? Most people that have discovered their purpose realize that that thing had always been speaking to them, poking them. But because they're trying to conform, they're trying to do what society wants them to do, they missed out on actually doing it, or maybe they were not courageous enough. But the thing is, what were you put on this earth to do? To pursue your purpose, you're going to require a lot of courage, because sometimes it is very far from where you are right now. It is very far from what your family members are dreaming of for you, and it may not just be what is the in thing or the popular thing, but it is your thing. Remember that it is your life, and if it is your life, you have to listen to what your heart is telling you. You know why people cannot actually see sometimes when you tell them what your purpose is because you are the one that is seeing it. It is time for each and every one of us to search our souls, to listen to what our heart is really telling us. In order to discover your purpose, you're going to need to actually take time out of the commotion, the busyness, the hustle and bustle, and be quiet with yourself. Sit down with yourself. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I love? What do I hate? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Pray, ask God to help you, and He will. We're in a world that, has actually put so much pressure on us to impress, for people to like us. People's lives, people's worth, people's value have been reduced to how many likes or followers they have. That is the world we live in. That's why it's so difficult for people to actually acknowledge their purpose sometimes, because it is not the thing that will impress people. You know what? It may not be the thing that will impress people initially, but if that's what God put you on this earth for, guess what? He has given you all the ingredients and the tools to make you great at it, to make you a genius at it, and to make it be the thing that will define you. The Bible says that a man's gift to make a way for him. When you actually operate in your gift, guess what? Your value is beyond money. And that is why sometimes when people are operating in their gifts, money is not a problem, because, they are doing the thing that, is their thing. And when they're actually operating in it, they are at genius level. But you cannot achieve genius level as something that you were not cut out for. When it comes to validating and defining your purpose, let your voice be the strongest. When you find your purpose and lack the courage to pursue it, it's like a caged bird. Let the caged bird fly. Because if you actually cage a bird, even if you give it the best life and the best food, it is still not fulfilling its full potential, because that bird is not flying. And if it's not flying, it's actually caged. It's actually trapped. It's not happy. So let the caged bird fly. As soon as you find out what you're supposed to do, it doesn't matter how far you've gone from it, just start to take steps, strategize, and put things in place to begin to do it little by little. It doesn't all have to blossom or actually, start in one day. You can start slowly, and then eventually, once you actually have concretized your plans, then you can begin to do it full time now. I don't advise people to just quit their jobs and pursue their purpose, because the thing is, if you actually quit the thing that puts money in your pocket to pursue your passion when you haven't made a strategic or concrete plan, in no time, you'll not be passionate about your purpose anymore, because you'll be hungry. And you go back to the very thing that you hated, which is the job that actually kept you bound in the first place. So you have to be strategic about it and make sure that you take the right step, do the right things, put yourself in a position to do what you were born to do full time. Now, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's not too late to pursue your purpose. The day you actually begin to live your purpose is the day you actually begin to cease from existing to living. Now, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken was in his 60s before his dream of starting the restaurant actualized. He had gone everywhere and they told him no. In his 60s, he actually made it happen. Now, I know when you discover your purpose, you're going to be like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. No, you have not wasted any time. Do not worry. Every minute, every second, every day, all the things that you've done all this while are kind of like adding up to that greater picture. They're like patches, little patches in that, art, in that final landscape of your life. And I tell you, it's adding to the experience that will make you more grounded and even better when you actually begin to now fulfill your purpose. And until you discover your purpose, keep experimenting. Do a lot of things, get involved in so many things, and actually get to find out what you really enjoy. Remember when I told you the story earlier of how I was just moderating a play in church, and somebody actually came to me and said, would you like to be on television? The more you do, the more you discover about yourself. There's no being without doing. You have to do something. You know, the more you do things, the more you realize what you're not cut out for and what actually makes you happy. You know, many people try to force it, but you know what? You cannot create your purpose. It is something that actually was there before you were born, even before your mother conceived you. It is the thing that God had in mind when He created you, and it is for you. It is your assignment. It is something that you just have to find. And I know it's frustrating at times when you don't know what you're supposed to do, but don't worry. Just keep searching. Don't let it bother you. Just keep searching, and I believe that one day you actually find out. When you find your purpose, the stars will align. Everything will come together to make it happen. It may not be easy. It may be very difficult, in fact, especially if you're on another path. But I want to let you know that when you start to take steps towards it, things will begin to happen, and you'll finally get there. You actually realize that, you know, all the people that are supposed to help you are in your life already, or they're just maybe 2 phone calls away, or things will just come together. Remember that it is very draining and exhausting to live a life that is not yours, because you won't feel fulfilled, but it only takes showing up to be yourself. And being yourself is living in your purpose and operating in the ultimate freedom of expression of who God made you to be.
Subscribe to this page for more inspirational videos from Patricia Bebiamawa.